This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Cameron Wolfe, getting ready to head out to the airport, right? You getting on a flight now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
All right,
man. I got a flight in a little over an hour, so I'm only stopping because I know I want to talk to Big O and Dolphins fans that need the content.
Yes, sir.
I love to cut it close, so I'm cutting it close.
So the positive about being old is that you've been around a while and you get experiences and you have perspective, and it helps you out because history tends to repeat itself, and and situations tend to repeat themselves. And maybe this might not be the player that repeats, but maybe right now it's the situation for the moment. We'll see where the player goes. But today we were talking with Coach, and we just played the sound bites when we were talking about Noah. And we were talking about his aggressiveness, and the coach was talking about how he communicates to him, how he wants him to be aggressive, how he wants him to go out there and let it go and play. And I talked to him also about, you have Connor Williams making a position change. So how do you do with a corner like Noah, who's a former receiver, And so he talked about the mindset and how at times it should be an advantage for Noah because he played the position that he's covering. So he should be able to it should be easier for him to think like a wide receiver than a normal cornerback who's never played wide receiver, right? So he talked about all of that kind of stuff. And then today he has the interception, right?
Pick six.
And if you watch that interception, that may have been one of the most emotional interceptions I have ever seen in practice. And I've seen a lot of practices over 30 years, but it meant a lot to him. You can tell. And it wasn't something it was more like a release of frustrations. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you could tell it's a young man that's working his ass off. And unlike Baker Mayfield, unlike Preston Williams, I'll give you examples on how not to handle adversity. Then I'll give you examples on how to handle adversity. Tua Tagovailoa and this young man right here, Noah Igbenogany. Both guys have been outstandingly classy. They hear the noise. I'm sure Noah hears it a lot more than Tua, because Tua, you can literally believe that he turns off the noise when he's away. You can literally believe he's playing his ukulele and hanging out with his family, and he's happy as a clam. You can believe that. I don't believe that of any other player in any other sport, period.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe Tebow is the other guy that maybe was a freak like that. The rest of them, they hear the noise.
They hear it.
And he's handled it very well. So I'm wondering your thoughts, because it's been so far, it hasn't been a productive first 2 weeks for him in camp. But today, maybe, who knows? Maybe it's a sign of the times. But your thoughts on Noah and what the coach talked about today, and then watching him today in practice.
I thought you painted it well in talking about maybe sort of the visuals of seeing him release his frustration. To paint it for people who weren't there like you and I, he catches the interception, runs into the crib about 90 yards, and then throws the ball as far as I think he probably
viciously.
Viciously.
Yes.
Then runs back and he jaws a little bit with Mike Gesicki after he gets back to that side of the huddle.
Right.
So you can tell, like you said, that this is something that's been building up. He reads it. Like, my biggest frustration that you hear from coaches and players is, Eric, well, I don't read it. Everyone, outside of maybe a handful of people that you maybe mentioned, a couple of them, reads or sees what's saying. He knows that people are calling him a bust. He knows that everybody's saying, well, Trill Williams is hurt. Now we got to play Noah, and Noah stinks. He's hearing all of this noise, and so he works hard. This is something we talked about last week. You get it if it's a guy that's jacking around and not working hard and not living up to his standard. This is a first round pick who wants badly to be a very good corner in this league, and it has not clicked for him at this point. And so I don't know if this is like a sign or a turning point, but I did think that it shows us just how important this is to people there. And so that's why I'm always careful in like ripping dudes when they don't perform, because you don't know what they're trying to do to get there. They just haven't
Right.
got there. And so I thought this was a really good day for the defense, a really good day for Noah. They're going to need the guy. He's not going to get cut.
You can rip the
You know,
knucklehead. The
yes,
knucklehead can be ripped because you're a knucklehead and you're also complaining and do
right,
yeah, no,
right.
no, dude,
He's
no,
like you
no,
said, he's a dude who puts his head down. He goes to work. He doesn't
bro.
complain. He doesn't
Yeah.
do anything, and he just tries to learn. And so I
So it
want to see him
reminds
succeed.
me a lot of Terrell Buckley
Uh huh.
because I'm old. And
Yep.
Terrell was a high pick too. And dude, early on, he took all kinds of now. Terrell was not Noah in the sense of he lacked like Noah needs to learn how to be aggressive, like what the
Right.
coach was talking about. Buckley was always aggressive. In fact, he was too
Right.
aggressive, and it
Right.
cost him early on in his career. But
Gotcha.
he was mentally tough enough to fight through because T-Buck was also a talker,
Yep.
and he came from FSU, so he had a shit ton of success at FSU because he was at FSU when FSU was FSU. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
so all the dogs that were coming out of there, they were like all badasses. And so Terrell Buckley was a badass in college. But then when he got to the NFL, it was a humbling experience for him. I don't know if he's still listening to me. Is he still there? Is he
Yeah,
still
I'm still
listening?
there.
Okay, because I don't see you. You're right now. You look like a black bear in a dark room. Okay, now you're back. Okay. So anyway, so now you look at Buckley, and he fought through all the adversity and the criticism, and people were ripping him and a bust and this and that, and again, T-Buck. By the way, he's now a head coach. And T-Buck is one of the classiest dudes you'll ever meet in your life. Like he is one of the best individuals you'll ever meet. And sure enough, he was able to fight through it. He ended up here in Miami, played for a few years. He kept Pat Surtain on the bench during his rookie year because Pat was just not good enough to unseat the old man at that time. And the old
Right.
man hung on to the job, when we had T-Buck here. And to me, there's a lot of the situation that Noah's going through that Terrell Buckley went through early on. High draft pick, not living up to it, not looking good. Although Terrell played a lot and got burned a lot early on and then
Yeah.
kind of figured it out. This kid, unfortunately, has not played a lot. And the little he has played, it's been a disaster. But I will count on him to be tough enough mentally to fight through this. Unlike, let's say, a Baker Mayfield and a Preston
Yep.
Williams who really don't really handle it the right way.
Yeah, this is one of the most important week and a half for Noah. Like, let's just keep it honest. He did not have a great set of practices in Tampa. He was a guy
Yep.
that we talked about. I wanted to see out there, and Julio Jones and a lot of the receivers out there exposed him. And so you can either do one thing. You can curl up in a ball and say, "Hey, NFL's not for me. I'm just gonna milk out my contract until they cut me," or you can try to respond. And so today he responded. He's gonna have a preseason game on Saturday where he's gonna play a lot. He's gonna have to respond. And then next week, he's going to get another chance at joint practices against the Eagles team that has a.
Oh, wait a minute. I lost. He's getting a call, I bet, right? That's what
Can
it
you hear me?
is.
Yeah.
Now we
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see how he responds, and they're going to need him. If you haven't noticed, Byron Jones is still not at practice. Mike McDaniel said today they're hopeful he's there for week one, but you're going to need practice time. The guy hasn't practiced. He hasn't hit the field really since January, December. And so he ideally needs a week or two of practice. I need a week or two of practice before he can go about playing in games. And so I think that he's it's a big question at this point. So you're going to need a Noah. You're going to need a Mackenzie Alexander type player to step up in these key moments.
Do you know anything about Jalen Waddle? He was
I do
catching
not.
balls on the jugs machine, so I'm not thinking that it's anything really serious. But he didn't play on Saturday and then didn't practice today. I wonder what's going on.
I haven't someone else can't be anything definitive on Jalen Waddle. I didn't see anything injury-wise from this past. Obviously, he didn't play on Saturday. I didn't see anything injury-wise from, Tampa. So I don't know. A lot of times he, Mike gives vet days. So I'm not sure if that's the situation there. But we had not gotten any
This is
clarity.
a vet weekend, not a vet day. They've given his ass multiple days, bro. That's awesome.
Right. But they also gave 17 other players off for the game as well. So it's not like it was just Jalen. But yeah, I will try to do a little bit digging there and see if there's anything. We haven't heard anything noteworthy, but we'll see.
By the way, I know that the offense struggled today. And listen, overall, they've been pretty good throughout camp. So they had the bad days, but having Noah get one of the interceptions is terrific. But having Brandon Jones get 2 interceptions, and on another route, he was with Tyreek all the way on that route, and it was an incomplete. And for those of us that are waiting for Brandon, that's the one element that's left in his game. I love everything else about this kid. I think he's a terrific player. Omar and I go back and forth here. He gives up on these young players way too soon. And he's like, oh, he can't cover. And it's like, no, dude, give him time. He'll get better, hopefully, with some time. And today, 2 interceptions. Another kid, by the way, that keeps his mouth quiet, keeps his head down, and just continues to. Now, the thing with Brandon, aggressiveness, he doesn't lack. That's the good thing about that kid.
Right. He doesn't. He's a downhill player. He only direction he knows to go is towards the ball. And so
Fearless.
he had a good day today as well. People haven't really noticed, but the way they've set up their depth chart, and I got to leave in like 1 minute to head to the airport. But the way they're setting up their depth chart, Brandon Jones has been getting a lot of the starting reps over Eric Rowe, which was the opposite last year. So it was a very subtle change. Both of them are still on the roster. But I think you're going to see Brandon Jones a lot more of those key situations than he had been in last year.
I'm with you there. Rowe will be more of the specialist at times back there. I'm with you. All right, well, where are you headed to, man?
I'm heading to Nashville actually right now. Joint practices between the Titans and Bucks up there. So get to see the Bucks twice in 1 week and see the Titans up there and see what they're going to do. So I'll be up there just for a quick 24-hour trip, and then I'll be back here in Miami for Thursday's practice and then for the preseason game. So
Tannehill has the Malik Willis doll that he's putting like pins into it.
Right. Indeed.
That page is turning in Tennessee. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe. Catch him twice a week here doing his thing with the KSDT CPA, Miami Dolphins and NFL Report. Safe in your travels, my friend. We'll catch up later on in the week.
Will do. All right, my guy.
You got it. There you go. Cameron Wolfe and our KSDT CPA, Miami Dolphins Report. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed.